So with that in mind, let's go over the back exercises. These are from something called the Sciatic Solution. So you have one other little handout. And then we'll use the last of our time to maybe answer some questions if you have them. Okay? So the first one of the Sciatic Solution, you do this one in a chair. And you want to kind of set up in the front of your chair. You want to be tall and strong so your spine is lined up like so. You're going to take your leg and you can either grab in front of the knee. If you've got trouble with your knee, grab underneath your knee. You want to just gently bring that up to your shoulder. Now you don't want to bring your shoulder to your knee. You want to bring your knee to your shoulder. That's one of those things when I say do this 3 times and people go, how come 3? Because more than 2 and less than 4. You want to just bring your knee to your shoulder because it matters. You're keeping your back out of the equation and you're stretching your glute muscles, which is why we do it this way. So it comes to the shoulder, a little add-in as you bring it across to the opposite shoulder, and you'll feel that tension in your quadratus lumborum, low part of your back, and in your cheek, your glute. So just bring that across like that, and you do both, up and over. Now the next one is a little bit different. You're going to cross your leg. Now, if you got tight hips or bad knees, just you want to do this gently. Remember, you're in charge. Just because I said to do it, or just because you can, doesn't mean you should. Take it just really, really easy. First thing we do, sit up big and tall. Second thing we do is gently bring the knee down until you feel some tension in that hip. And just move it back and forth. Got it? And then with your chin up and your chest big, lean out and over. And I'm guessing most of you will feel that. Right in through here, especially in that top, not in the microphone, but especially in the top of that acupuncture point. The last little piece of that, you can see Jackie is up against a wall like this. All of these are extension exercises. So what she's doing in that particular spot is you can take a big step forward, keeping your knee locked on the back side. And when you do that, you want to squeeze that cheek a little bit and step and lunge into it. Now if you want more, you put your arms up. And if you really want more, I'm kind of on a short leash, I got to stay within the camera angle here. You put your arms against, you step forward, you squeeze that and bring it back and just lower down into it. As the arms come up, what ends up happening is all this tension starts to pull. Now remember we talked about eating potato salad? This one brings it in, this one lets it. When those go back and forth, brain says contract, brain says lengthen. When we do this stretch, brain says contract, brain says lengthen. So now you've become long and supple and flexible. Now you have 2 of them, so you want to do it on both sides. So squeeze, lunge, arms come up. And that's the sciatic solution. Now, the last thing I'll say before we bust into questions is I dropped some cards on the back, and there's also my phone number is on here. I said I'd bring you guys a gift. And so some of this stuff, I'll answer any questions that you ask me, but if it's something that you would like to ask privately, both my brother and I are willing to do a free consult about something that might be bothering you or something that you want to know. I just don't want to ask it in front of my peers. So the number is on there. If you call and say the word Douglas Machines, Shannon, our receptionist, will know that this is from this talk, and they'll set you up for that free gift. So with that in mind, thanks for your attention. It's 12:25, and I got 5 minutes or longer if you wish, but I'll handle any questions or anything that may have been confusing that you'd like me to hit a second time. No one likes the first question, so I will ask the first question. How did you become a chiropractor? Well, my brother was a wrestler, hurt his shoulder. He went and saw Dr. Novotny. I was at Augsburg studying biology. Dr. Novotny put him right back on the mat, helped him really very, very rapidly. My mom says, P, you got to meet this guy. He's so cool. So I'm pre-med at the time. I come home to Alexandria. I meet Larry Novotny. I spend some time with him, play some pool, eat some hamburgers, figure out that he's a really, really nice man. Spend some time in his office, and so I often have students spend time in my office because I need to return that favor, right? So I finished up my degree at Augsburg, so I have a degree in biology and chemistry. Take a gap year, learned to surf, paddled a canoe through Australia and through Canada. Went to Logan in St. Louis, Missouri, and finished up my chiropractic degree and my acupuncture degree. Came back here and worked for about 2 years and realized there was more. So I went back and I pursued that rehab degree, but I had a young family at the time, and so I didn't finally sit for my boards and take my tests until just a year ago. I had the education, I didn't have the credential. So to get the credential, you take an awful test. One was 90 questions, you have 90 minutes to do it. I shot through it in about 45 minutes, it was great. Then you take a second test, that's 180 questions, and you have 180 minutes to do the test. It took me 2 hours and 58 minutes. It was not great. It was really, really hard. Fortunately, I passed them both, so when I buy an airplane ticket, I fly to Las Vegas, I come to a room like this, where there's 2 doctors and a table. I sit down, they sit down, say, how are you doing? I say, great. They proceed to ask me questions, and one guy throws rocks while I answer. Okay, when that gets done, I go to the next room, same deal, another 2 hours. But now there's 3 doctors. One's a patient, 2 ask questions and throw rocks, and the patient just doesn't help you at all. So that was the oral portion of that. So when Sue talked about the exam that I passed, that was that. But now I get to say I am a specialist in rehab, and in this case, neuro rehab. Of the different chiropractic specialties, there's 65, 70,000 chiropractors in the U.S. I'm one of 1,500 with that diplomate degree. So, like I said, I'm kind of a big deal. I'm teasing. I'm still a regular guy that still draws pictures with a marker, but that's what Mike and I bring to Alexandria. So that's how I got to do. That's why I know this stuff. That's how I got to do this stuff. So, what kind of questions are in your mind? Yeah.
No, you go.
My upper back is fine, my arms are fine, my legs are fine. Anything's gonna bother me is the middle of the lower back. Anything you do to straighten that part?
Yeah, there's a couple things you do. Number one, just make sure anytime you come up out of a chair, out of the restroom, out of the pickup truck, just anytime you stand up, take a minute, take your knuckles like this, where your back becomes butt and butt becomes back. Now, this is a hydraulic system. It's fluid filled and it's pressurized, right? So from this position, just nod your head. If it doesn't hurt, you can do the next part. If it does hurt, you got a problem. So don't go any farther, okay? Doesn't hurt. So then you can bend forward like this. And this is counterintuitive because you're taking now a structure, these are blocks in here, and they've got a hollow portion to them, and your spinal cord runs through that, and in between, you've got these discs. So what we're talking about is how do we take one of these guys that's not staying in his lane and get him to move back where he belongs. So many times you do this and it doesn't feel good. So you just do a little bit of it. And you do a little bit more. Oh, it's starting to move. And you do a little bit more. So away you go. So that's the first part. The second part is, if I walked over and poked you, you'd tighten up. And it's important that we maintain control of our abdominal muscles. And you do that not by sucking in like Hulk Hogan, but by pulling your belly button against your spine. And if you watch me pull in, I actually get a little taller because as I contract these, the tension increases and these curves, they get a little flatter. So by firing those, people go, well, you walk around stiff. Well, actually, mine are fired right now, okay? So you just need to learn to fire those, extend a bit, but keep these firm while you move your arms and legs. So this thing right here would be the other way to teach those muscles that they want to be firm. You sit at a desk long enough, you ride in a car long enough, I've been down on the assembly floor, and the idea that there's little stools and little things that you guys get to sit on and move on. When we sit, we do not have a genetic defense against sitting. Sitting is poison, right? But you got to sit down and rest, and sometimes that's the only way to work. I mean, you've seen now the advent of stand-up desks. Why is that? Because sitting's poison. But I would say make sure that you're moving and walking. Make sure that you're cross-crawling. That cross-crawl means opposite sides. Fire those abs and do that extension. Those are some easy ways to address that. Anybody else? I'll stay. I've kind of ran into the end of your 12:30. So, but I will stay as long as you wish. And like I said, those cards are in back, so help yourself. Well, with that, I'll tell you one more little story. There's a book I really enjoyed called The Other 90%. It's how theoretically we use 10% of our brain, which is not really true. But that means that was 90% was unused. And this gentleman, Robert Cooper, tells a story about trekking in Tibet, and he meets this family. And when he introduces himself, the little girl looks at him, folds her hands in front of her heart, bows, and says, Tashi Delay. He goes, wow, what does that mean? She goes, I salute the greatness in you. He's like, cool. She goes, how do you greet people in America? He goes, hello? What does that mean? It just means hello. So with that in mind, Tashi Delay. I salute the greatness in each and one of you, and thank you for having me today. Yeah, go ahead. We'll keep going.
You said that this thing, St. Douglas, you got something going on. Does that work for your spouse also?
Absolutely. Yeah, you just call in, have her say, you know what, I heard about Dr. Pete and Dr. Mike from Douglas Machines, and we'll gladly do a no-cost consultation and talk about, yeah, this is a good place, we should explore these things, or no, this isn't the right place for you. Let's use your healthcare system here, which is ideal. And there's different ways that we can work through that. But we'd be glad. I mean, part of our mission is either answer your question and serve you, or put you in the direction where they can get your question answered. I'd be more than happy to do that. And anybody who lives under your roof, or not, we'll gladly answer them. So thank you again for having me.